The little girl stood at his doorstep, soaked from the rain, clutching a worn teddy bear and a letter. "Are you my daddy?" she asked, her voice barely audible above the storm. Mark Stevens felt the world shift beneath his feet as he stared into eyes that mirrored his own. In that moment, he knew nothing would ever be the same again. Before we continue this journey together, if you're enjoying this story, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us of the unexpected ways love can transform our lives. Mark had built walls around his heart after his wife's death 3 years ago. At 35, he'd settled into a predictable routine: wake up, drop his son Ethan at school, work at his architectural firm, pick up Ethan, microwave dinner, repeat. The apartment they shared in downtown Seattle felt emptier with each passing month, despite his attempts to fill it with work projects spread across the dining table. His colleagues had stopped inviting him to happy hours, and his mother had given up on setting him up with her friends' daughters. Mark wasn't just surviving, he was existing in a carefully constructed bubble where nothing could hurt him again. Until tonight. Until this child appeared claiming to be his daughter. "What's your name?" Mark asked, kneeling down to her level, noticing she couldn't be more than 6 years old. "Lily," she whispered, extending the crumpled envelope. "Mommy said to give you this. She said you'd know what to do." Mark's hands trembled as he opened the letter. The handwriting belonged to Sophia, a woman he'd had a brief relationship with before meeting his wife. They'd parted amicably when she moved to Chicago for a job opportunity. He'd never heard from her again. "Dear Mark," the letter began. "If you're reading this, then I'm gone. Cancer took me faster than the doctors predicted. Lily is your daughter. I should have told you years ago, but by the time I discovered I was pregnant, you were engaged. I couldn't bring myself to disrupt your happiness. I've told Lily about you her whole life. You're the only family she has left. I'm sorry to burden you this way, but I'm out of options and out of time. Please take care of our daughter. She's everything good in this world. Love, Sophia." Mark looked up from the letter to find Ethan standing in the hallway, his 10-year-old face a mixture of confusion and curiosity. "Dad? Who's that?" Before Mark could answer, Lily sneezed, her small body shivering in her damp clothes. Whatever shock or anger or disbelief he felt would have to wait. There was a child, possibly his child, standing cold and alone in his doorway. "Come inside, Lily," he said gently. "Let's get you warm and dry." That night changed everything. Mark called his sister Jenny, who arrived within the hour with children's pajamas and a sympathetic ear. While Lily slept in the guest room, Mark paced the kitchen, running his hands through his hair. "I don't even know if she's really mine," he whispered, though something in his heart already knew the truth. Lily had his mother's chin and his own stubborn cowlick at the crown of her head. "We'll figure it out," Jenny assured him. "One step at a time." The DNA test confirmed what Mark already suspected. Lily was his biological daughter. The social worker assigned to the case explained that without other relatives coming forward, Mark had full parental rights if he wanted them. If not, Lily would enter the foster system. The thought of Lily in foster care made Mark's stomach turn. But was he ready to become a father to a child he'd just met? Ethan was already struggling with the adjustment, alternating between curiosity about his new sister and jealousy over sharing his father's attention. "She took my cereal this morning," Ethan complained on the 3rd day. "And she doesn't even like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. She just wanted it because it was mine." Mark sighed, recognizing the real issue wasn't about cereal. "It's a big change, buddy. For all of us. But Lily's lost everything. Can you imagine how scared she must feel?" Ethan kicked at the carpet. "I guess. But what if you like her better than me now?" Mark pulled his son into a tight hug. "That could never happen. My heart just got bigger, that's all. There's plenty of room for both of you." The first month was chaos. Mark took family leave from work, scrambled to enroll Lily in school, and spent hours on the phone with insurance companies and Sophia's estate lawyer. Nights were the hardest. Lily woke screaming from nightmares, calling for her mother. Mark would sit beside her bed, awkwardly patting her back, wishing he knew how to comfort this child who was both his and a stranger. One night, as Lily sobbed inconsolably, Ethan appeared in the doorway. Without a word, he climbed onto the bed and handed Lily his prized possession, a stuffed dragon his mother had given him before she died. "His name is Smoke," Ethan said solemnly. "He keeps the bad dreams away." Lily clutched the dragon to her chest, her sobs quieting. "Really? Really? He worked for me when my mom died. Dad had to sit with me too." Mark felt his throat tighten as he watched his children, both his children, form their first fragile bond over shared loss. The following weeks brought small victories and painful setbacks. Lily refused to eat anything but peanut butter sandwiches. Ethan slammed doors when he felt ignored. Mark burned dinner more often than not and stayed up late researching how to braid hair and helping children cope with grief. His boss called, asking when he planned to return. His mother visited, offering well-meaning but overwhelming advice. Through it all, Mark kept finding Sophia's letter, reading it again and again, searching for answers to questions he couldn't articulate. Why hadn't she told him? Would he have made different choices if he'd known? What right did she have to keep his daughter from him for 6 years, only to thrust her into his life without warning? Yet alongside the anger came moments of unexpected joy. Lily's gap-toothed smile when she mastered tying her shoes. The way she hummed while coloring, a habit Mark recognized from his own childhood. Her serious little face as she helped set the table, counting forks with careful precision. 2 months after Lily's arrival, Mark returned to work part-time, arranging his schedule around school pickups and drop-offs. His mother watched the children 2 afternoons a week, and Jenny covered Fridays. It wasn't perfect, but they were managing. Then came the parent-teacher conference at Lily's school. Her teacher, Ms. Rivera, was a young woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. "Lily's struggling to connect with her classmates," she explained. "Academically, she's right where she should be, she's quite bright, actually, but socially, she's withdrawn. She spends recess alone, drawing pictures of her mother." Mark nodded, guilt washing over him. He'd been so focused on logistics, keeping everyone fed, clothed, and on schedule, that he'd neglected the emotional work. "What can I do?" Ms. Rivera smiled. "There's a grief support group for children at the community center. I think it could help Lily process her feelings in a safe environment. And..." She hesitated, "there's a single parents group that meets at the same time. You might find it helpful too." Mark's instinct was to refuse. He didn't need a support group. He was handling things fine on his own. But the dark circles under his eyes and the growing pile of unwashed laundry at home suggested otherwise. "I'll think about it," he promised. That night, after the children were asleep, Mark found himself staring at Sophia's photograph on Lily's nightstand. She looked happy, her arm around a younger Lily, both of them laughing at the camera. "I'm trying," he whispered to the image. "But I don't know what I'm doing." The following Saturday, Mark found himself sitting awkwardly in a circle of chairs at the community center, while Ethan and Lily attended their respective programs down the hall. The other parents nodded in understanding as he introduced himself. "I'm Mark. I have a 10-year-old son, and recently discovered I have a 6-year-old daughter. Her mother died of cancer 2 months ago. I'm still adjusting." A woman across the circle caught his eye. "That's a lot to handle all at once," she said. Her name tag read, Claire. She had curly hair pulled into a messy bun and paint stains on her jeans. "I'm raising my nephew after my sister's accident last year. The learning curve is steep, isn't it?" For the first time in months, Mark felt truly seen. These people understood the midnight doubts, the constant second-guessing, the simultaneous love and resentment that came with unexpected parenthood. After the meeting, Claire approached him. "Our kids are in the same grief group," she explained. "My nephew Tyler mentioned a girl named Lily who also lost her mom." They chatted while waiting for the children's session to end. Claire was an art therapist who worked with trauma survivors. She'd put her private practice on hold to care for 8-year-old Tyler after her sister and brother-in-law died in a car accident. "It gets easier," she assured him. "Not perfect, but easier. You learn to forgive yourself for the mistakes and celebrate the small wins." When the children emerged, Tyler and Lily were deep in conversation, comparing drawings they'd made. Ethan trailed behind, looking bored but not unhappy. "Dad!" Lily called, the first time she'd used that word for him. "Tyler has a turtle named Slowpoke. Can we go see him sometime?" Mark met Claire's amused glance. "Maybe we could arrange something," he said, surprised by how much he hoped she would agree. The turtle playdate led to a picnic in the park, which led to regular Saturday meetups after grief group. The children formed their own chaotic tribe, with Tyler and Lily bonding over their shared losses and Ethan gradually accepting his role as the oldest. Claire became Mark's lifeline, the person he texted when Lily refused to wear anything but her Halloween costume to school, or when Ethan got in trouble for punching a classmate who called his family weird. 6 months after Lily arrived on his doorstep, Mark realized his life had transformed in ways he never could have imagined. His apartment was cluttered with children's art projects and mismatched socks. The dining table held homework instead of work blueprints. The refrigerator displayed spelling tests and soccer schedules instead of takeout menus. And somewhere along the way, he'd started living again instead of just existing. The revelation came on an ordinary Tuesday evening. Mark was helping Lily with her reading while Ethan practiced his trumpet in the bedroom, badly. The apartment was too small, too noisy, and desperately needed vacuuming. Yet as Lily sounded out words, her finger tracing each letter with determination, Mark felt a profound sense of rightness wash over him. "You're doing great, Lilybug," he said, using the nickname that had slipped out weeks ago and stuck. She beamed up at him. "I'm going to read a whole chapter book soon. Ms. Rivera said so." "I believe it," Mark replied, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, a gesture that had become automatic. Later that night, after checking on both sleeping children, Mark found Sophia's letter again. The paper was worn from repeated handling, the creases soft. But this time, instead of anger or confusion, he felt gratitude. Despite the circumstances, despite the challenges, Sophia had given him a precious gift, the chance to know and love their daughter. He sat down and wrote a letter of his own, one Lily would read years later when she was old enough to understand. "Dear Lily," he began. "I want to tell you about your mother, and how brave she was, and how finding you on my doorstep that rainy night changed everything for the better." The following weekend, Claire invited them to her house for dinner. While the children played in the backyard with Slowpoke the turtle, Claire and Mark sat on the patio, watching the sunset. "Tyler asked if we were going to get married," Claire said suddenly, laughing. "Apparently, the kids have been planning our wedding. Lily wants to be the flower girl, and the boys want to release doves, which I'm pretty sure is impractical and possibly a health code violation." Mark choked on his lemonade. "They what?" Claire's cheeks flushed. "I told him we're just friends, of course. Kids and their imaginations." Mark looked at her, really looked at her. The way her eyes crinkled when she smiled. The gentle way she spoke to all 3 children, not just her nephew. The quiet strength she carried. "What if we weren't?" he asked, surprising himself. Claire's eyes widened. "Weren't what?" "Just friends." Mark set down his glass. "I'm not proposing, the kids are way ahead of themselves there. But I'd like to take you to dinner. Just the 2 of us. If you're interested." Claire's slow smile was answer enough. Their first date was a disaster. The babysitter canceled last minute, forcing Mark's mother to step in. He spilled wine on Claire's dress, and they got caught in a downpour walking back to the car. Yet standing on her porch, both of them dripping wet, Mark felt happier than he had in years. "Can I kiss you?" he asked. Claire's answer was to rise on her tiptoes and press her lips to his. Life continued its messy, beautiful evolution. Mark's firm offered him a partnership, which he accepted on the condition that he could maintain flexible hours. Claire reopened her art therapy practice, specializing in children dealing with grief and trauma. The kids had good days and bad days. Lily started dance classes. Ethan joined the school band. Tyler became a regular fixture at their apartment. 1 year after Lily's arrival, Mark sold the apartment and bought a small house with a backyard. The moving day was chaos, boxes everywhere, children running through rooms claiming territory, Claire directing traffic with clipboard in hand. That evening, exhausted but content, Mark sat on the porch steps watching Ethan teach Lily and Tyler how to catch fireflies in the yard. Claire joined him, resting her head on his shoulder. "Happy?" she asked. Mark thought about the winding path that had brought him here, the grief, the shock, the fear, the joy. He thought about Sophia's final gift and the courage it must have taken to send Lily to him. He thought about second chances and blended families and the way love expands to fill whatever space you give it. "Yes," he said simply. "I'm happy." Inside the house, on the mantel above the fireplace, sat a framed photograph of Sophia next to a family portrait taken at the park, Mark, Ethan, Lily, Claire, and Tyler, all smiling into the camera. Not the family any of them had planned, but the family they had found. As the fireflies danced and the children laughed, Mark silently thanked the little girl who had shown up on his doorstep and changed his destiny forever. If this story touched your heart, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories of hope, healing, and the unexpected journeys that shape our lives. Remember that sometimes our greatest blessings arrive in unexpected packages, and it's never too late for a new beginning.